Hello, all my fantastic fanatics. This is your man, Dr. Usher, coming at you live, and I'm about to drop some serious science today. Today, I want to talk to you about why is it that some people survive COVID while others die from it. I'm going to provide you with the latest research and what they have found. Just let me say from the jump, their findings are quite shocking. So let's jump right in. So the first thing I need to explain to you is how COVID works according to science. COVID works by connecting itself to a specific ectoenzyme. So you might be asking, Raph, what is an ectoenzyme? It is a secretion that is produced by a cell. In this case, the specific enzyme is called the ACE2 ectoenzyme. It is the ectoenzyme that COVID connects itself to. So in short, COVID connects itself to the ACE2 ectoenzyme. Now, the ACE2 ectoenzyme is anchored to the plasma membrane of the cells of several tissues in the body. And you notice I got my diagram. And those ectoenzymes specifically are your upper respiratory tract, your heart, your kidneys, your gastrointestinal tract, and everything you see here, okay? So the ACE2 ectoenzymes are all in here. So I hope you guys can see that on my diagram, okay? That's where it is. And so to repeat, the ACE2 ectoenzyme is anchored to the plasma membrane of the cells that are located in the upper and lower respiratory tract, the heart, the kidneys, and the gastrointestinal tract. This explains why COVID can attack various organs in our body and cause devastating effects. Now, the question remains is, how is it that COVID kills some and not others? Why is it that some get the sniffles and others get pneumonia and subsequently die from it? Well, the answer is quite easy. So I'm going to explain to you this research. According to the research published in the European Society of Clinical Microbiology and Infectious Diseases. Yes, that's a long title, but it's true. Go to my website, you can look it up, okay? But according to their research, it shows that the severity of sickness depends upon how many viral spores enter your nostrils at one given moment. This is why when you get tested for COVID, they use nasal swabs. See, the virus enters your nose and attaches itself to the ACE2 ectoenzyme. So this is what happens. The virus enters your nose here, and it attaches itself to ectoenzymes. And then from there, it incubates, and it produces more spores. Then it spreads and connects to surrounding ACE2 ectoenzymes. The spores that don't connect are usually floating around in your bloodstream with nothing to connect to until it reaches an organ that has ACE2 ectoenzymes. Now, then once it finds the ACE2 ectoenzyme, it then starts the incubation process, multiplies, and then spreads. This is why scientists have asked us repeatedly to wear a face mask. Now look, the purpose of the face mask is to prevent or decrease the number of spores entering your nostrils. See, according to the research, if you have one spore enter your nose, you're probably going to be asymptomatic, okay? Because one spore is not a lot. It just reproduces, but it's not a lot. Your body catches up to it and snuffs it out really quick. That's why most people get the sniffles, because their body recognizes, oh, it's got a small dose of this COVID thing. We need to take care of it. So your body reacts and boom, takes it out. And it's just a small load, so it doesn't overload your system. So the more spores you have, the more severe your sickness will be. That's why a lot of people get super sick with COVID, because they have inhaled a large number of spores and it's reproduced so rapidly that the body can't respond to it quick enough. But see, this is why that when you take your COVID test, they put that thing in your nose, because we know based on science that once the COVID enters your nose, your nostrils, it's going to hang out here for a while, a couple of days at least. And they can put that thing in your nose. They go, I think it's like a couple of millimeters back, and they can swab that area to see if it's breathing or not, see if it's even there. That's why those tests are so highly accurate, because we now know for a fact this is where COVID hangs out. Now, there's another version of COVID that they found in Canada that attaches to the gastrointestinal tract, because it passed through, it went through a mutation where it passed through fecal material, and that particular COVID can attach itself to your intestines and causes diarrhea and all that stuff. But that's a different, it's the same, but it's a different topic. I want to focus on, why are people dying more so than the different types of COVID there are. Because regardless of whether you get it or not, or it's not a matter whether you get it, it's when you're going to get it, and how much you're going to get is what's causing the big concern for me, and what should cause a big concern for you. Because like I said, as the science points to, we know for a fact that COVID hangs out in your nostrils, right up in here, in your sinus cavities for a couple of days before it reproduces and spreads, or before your body has a chance to react to it. Now, again, this is why scientists have asked us to wear a mask. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, Dr. Usher, the mask cannot stop a virus. It's scientifically proven, Ralph, that the spores can pass through those little holes in the mask. We had that little diagram where the virus is this big and the hole in the mask is this big, and boop, and it can just pass through it with ease. Well, that's true if the virus was free floating by itself. But usually the virus is contained within droplets of water or moisture. And this is what we understand about water. Water has an electrical charge that tends to attach itself to objects that are close to it. Hence, if you're wearing a mask, the odds are that the droplets will attach itself to the fibers of that mask. And so I know you might be thinking to yourself, Raph, that's a bit weird. Well, it's true. I mean, you can test this for yourself. You get 2 drops of water and you put something close to it, it'll automatically attract itself to it. I mean, that's what water does. I think it has like a positive charge or something like that, and it attracts itself to a negative charge, and it forms a bond. And don't quote me on that, but I think it's something like that. You can research it yourself on Google. But, if you're concerned about the fact that, the little virus can pass through that big old hole, I also want you to think about your nostrils. These little nose hairs you have up here, the purpose of these nose hairs is to filter out contaminants in the air, which includes viruses, people. And look, I want you to look how far apart your nose hairs are. Look how far apart they are. They're not like tight together like an N95 mask, but they do a great job of protecting you. So think about this. Wearing a mask is an added layer of protection to your nose. So your nose will catch some of that virus, but still, majority of it can still get through. But if you're wearing that mask, if the virus droplets, make it through the mask, then guess what? They still have to pass by your nostrils, and even if they pass by your nostrils, they still got to get into your sinus cavity. This is why people wear masks, people. Haven't you noticed that people who tend to wear masks do not get as sick as those who don't? That's a scientific fact. Yes, you will get sick, but you won't get deathly ill, because the virus gets caught up in the fibers of the mask, and then it gets caught in the fibers of your nose, and it reduces the viral load or the viral spores entering your sinus cavity, and therefore you don't get as sick. It even prevents it. For some people, it stops everything. Like if you wear the N95, it's not coming through, and you're not going to get it. And there was some concerns that it can enter in through your eyes and other areas where there's mucus. That's still possible. I haven't done a lot of research on that particular instance, but I just want to explain to you why is it that some people get sick and die from this thing and others don't. And that's because we now know that this virus, attaches itself to this ectoenzyme, the ACE2 ectoenzyme. And so and think about it, if you got this virus in your body And let's say it passed by your lungs. Let's say you did something and it passed by your lungs, it's just in your bloodstream. And that's why certain people have these issues with their kidneys, their heart, other parts of their body, and they may not have any other symptoms. That's because, it didn't take root in the nostrils. It found itself another ectoenzyme to connect to somewhere else in your body. But the main mode of transportation for it to get into your body in the first place is your nose or your mouth, but, mainly the nose. If you're wearing a mask, or if you're not wearing a mask, it's going to be your nose, but you need to wear a mask to protect yourself. So the question has been asked, what can you do to protect your ACE2 ectoenzymes from being contaminated with COVID spores? Because that's a real serious question. If your ectoenzymes are being attached, if the COVID spores are attaching itself to ectoenzymes, then it's preventing ectoenzymes from doing their purpose, which causes sickness. So what can you do to prevent that from happening? Well, if you're going into a place where there's a high risk of someone having COVID, then yes, I know there are a few things you can do. And so I'm going to give you a couple of things you can do right off the bat. Now, these are things that, I've read online. I'm not a doctor. I can't validate, well, I'm a doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor that can validate these particular findings. But you have to talk with your medical professional and see what they say about this and base everything I say with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt, because these are just findings, and I posted the research of these findings on my website, drusher.com, so you can click on those links at the bottom of the page and you can check out the research for yourself. I'm just here to report what I found, not to say this is what you need to do. But if you are in that situation, the first thing you should do is clean your nose with antiviral sprays. Now, the most common antiviral spray in America right now is Zicam. This allegedly will do two things. It will cleanse your nose, and two, it will hinder viral reproduction. That's what Zicam claims it does. It, stops the virus before it can spread. And so if you have this in your nose after being in an area where you've possibly been contaminated with COVID, a couple of sprays of Zicam can usually help. Now, this is according to research, not according to my opinion. There's research out there that's looked at this, and it's still up in the air. But it's, if you want to take precautionary measures and this is something that you believe, I take it. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I use Zicam on a regular basis whenever I feel like I'm getting the sniffles, or if my, because some of us know when our body's about to get sick. And for me, if I'm about to get sick, it always starts in my nose. And normally I'll just do some Zicam up there and it knocks it out within 24 hours and I'm good to go. And so, but still, talk to your doctors about it. I can't give you personal medical advice. Talk to your doctor, okay? The second thing you can do is remember that pepsin is an ACE2 ectoenzyme. The less you have of it in your body, the less the virus can attach itself to it. Hence, some researchers have experimented with taking proton pump inhibitors, such as Pepcid, to decrease the secretion of the ectoenzyme. And this has shown promising results, everybody. But I need to put a disclaimer. Pepcid has stated, and I've put it on my website, that they do not recommend that their medicine be used for COVID treatment. But there is research done by our government that says that it did help with preventing more severe COVID illness after taking it. Because, again, if COVID attaches itself to, ACE2 ectoenzymes, and pepsin is an ACE2 ectoenzyme, then the less you have it, guess what? The less that thing can thrive and survive. So follow the research, talk to your doctor about it, and this is something you can bring up. And so my job, again, is not to tell you what to do. My job is just to provide the facts as I see it, as I found it, as I read it. And I posted everything on my website. And I just want you guys to go to my website, read, and research some more, and give me some feedback. What do you think about the research? What do you think How do you interpret what's being said? Do you think that the government's hiding things from us? Do you think there's been misinformation? Give me your thoughts on it, because I think your input is valuable. And on drusher.com, you will not be censored. Share away, talk to me, let me know what you think. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've answered all your questions. So as I close, I want you to remember my famous saying, do as much good as you can while you can. And this includes wearing a mask. So God bless you, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.